So, you guys at PlayStation just announced one of the worst decisions in gaming history, the end of physical games. The internet seems quite upset about this decision. What do you want to say to your fans, especially the ones who prefer physical games? We have a product for you bums, it's called the PS5.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This is it, folks. PlayStation has set the road for the end of physical media, and essentially game ownership in the console gaming space. They've just announced on the PS blog that from January 2028, PlayStation won't be creating any new physical game discs for new game releases on their consoles anymore. And I couldn't be more disappointed, even if I tried, gang. In the span of a single console generation, PlayStation has managed to do something borderline impossible. They've stepped on rakes on basically every decision they've made the entire generation. Like, no joke, even Stevie Wonder has more foresight than the decision makers at PlayStation. From overcommitting into live service games and essentially screwing up their release timelines for all their first party studios, which resulted in the mismanagement of studios like Naughty Dog and Bluepoint Games, to name a few, which also led to the closure of the latter. This has caused thousands of layoffs at PlayStation, and now they're also screwing over their most engaged customers by removing the options of buying physical games. Truly, a masterclass in making sure everybody hates your guts to the fullest extent possible. And don't be fooled into thinking that this is just some small issue that no one cares about, just because most people are buying their games digital nowadays. I have not seen a PR disaster of this magnitude since the reveal of the Xbox One. People all over the timeline are roasting and hating on PlayStation far and wide. Heck, even the brands have started taking the piss at Sony. Oh, and before some of you people start with the "this ain't affect me, I only buy digital games" gimmick, this shit will definitely affect you digital Andes as well. Because if the PlayStation Store is the only avenue of buying games on PlayStation, Sony will do everything in their power to screw you over. I mean, we're seeing it already with their testing of dynamic pricing, which pushes higher prices on frequent customers. So take a seat everyone, and if you're new here, subscribe for weekly videos all about gaming. Anyways, it's time I put you on why PlayStation just straight up cooked the remaining dregs of their reputation with this asinine decision. First of all, you niggas need to understand that there's a trade-off when buying digital games as opposed to physicals. When buying a digital game, you're trading actual ownership of the game for convenience. While both are basically just licenses to a game, the big difference is that Sony cannot revoke your physical license at all. With a physical copy, you actually own what you bought, while with a digital copy, you only have access to the game, as long as the licensed distributor allows it. And before a troglodyte in the comments starts typing the tired old, "Well, you don't really own physical games because they need to be installed off the internet," that shit is literally the type of misinformation that got us here in the first place. The vast majority of all PlayStation games, be it PS1 to PS5, have playable builds on the disc that can be played from start to finish without having to connect to the internet even once. The vast majority of them don't even need day one patches. Does It Play has a website where they routinely check new releases to see if they come with a complete 1.0 build that can be played from start to end or not. The same cannot be said for digital, because the platform holders, like Sony in this case, can revoke your license at any point they want, and there will be nothing you could do about it. If anything were to happen to Sony or the PlayStation Network, your entire library of games could vanish just like that. Last week, Sony has literally announced that they are going to remove over 500 movies that people have bought and paid for from their accounts. Your digital licenses are literally glorified rentals, nigga. And platform holders like Sony can take them from you whenever they damn well please. While we're on this topic, on the same day, Sony announced that they are stopping the production of physical media. They also put up a blog post outlining the shutdown of the PS3 and PS Vita stores this year. Thousands, and I mean thousands of games, won't be accessible anymore. And there is no recourse at all. And the worst part of all this, they outlined in the blog post that game purchases made on these stores would be still available for a while. For a while? Ain't no way this shit says for a while. What the fuck is this even supposed to mean? 6 months? A year? Who knows? Because the fate of all digital purchases made on these systems are in the hands of Sony, because they have 100% control over digital licenses, any and all time. And you know what's even worse? If anything ever happens to your account, you can kiss all your digital content goodbye. Sony can't be trusted to be a steward of your accounts, because the security of the PlayStation Network is weaker than the sales numbers of Concord, my nigga. There's a massive social engineering issue that hackers exploit to boost a fuckton of accounts on PlayStation. The host of the biggest podcast in gaming, Colin Moriarty, had his account stolen. The perpetrators manipulated the PlayStation support into changing his account data and handing it over to them. he had to employ his personal connections in the industry to get his account back. Something that literally no one else can do. And this shit happens to a ton of people on PlayStation who obviously don't have industry connections like that. You know what PlayStation's response is in most of these cases? There's unfortunately nothing we can do to help you. Nigga, what? Yeah, you heard that right. In almost all of these cases, the account boosters violate the TOS on your account and Sony won't be willing to help reinstate your account in the slightest. Mind you, this is the same company that wants you to stop having ownership of your games and trust them in having a digital library on their sorry excuse for a storefront. The same storefront that currently has a back-end hacker problem, where hackers are adding games like Backshot Simulator to people's account, and even adding absurd numbers of playtime like 5,000 hours to these games as well. Yeah right, let's all trust PlayStation with our accounts. Now, let's talk about the paper, the moolah, the bread. Because more often than not, the PlayStation Store prices are not all that, especially when compared to physical prices. And don't get me wrong, the prices during sales can be quite decent and even rival physical games. But more often than not, you're getting a better deal when you're buying a physical game instead of a digital one. Let's look at Expedition 33 for example. I can get the physical version of the game for $33 right now, but the PlayStation Store version still has the launch price of $50. Look at Ghost of Yotei, $80 on the PlayStation Store and $66 for the physical. And these are new games. The prices would be even lower if I checked for used copies. If Sony gets rid of physical games, you better wait for a sale of a game you're trying to buy. Or you'd have to shell out MSRP even years after launch. Which will be even worse when Sony is inevitably going to raise game prices to $90 or god forbid $100 next gen. Missed a sale? Well, there will be $100 on the top of your dome for you, bitch boy. Imagine spending $100 for a digital license of a game on one of the worst insecure storefronts in the gaming industry. Some of you niggas might say this shit is fanfiction, but this is Sony we're talking about. From what we've seen, they're the LeBron James of bad decision making since the start of the generation. And you know what? Let's dig deeper into that. Wait, pause. If the PS4 generation can be described as PlayStation regaining their status as the #1 gaming platform, then the PS5 generation can easily be described as Sony cementing themselves as one of the worst companies in gaming. They've been losing their edge when it comes to their first party releases, since they don't come out nearly as often due to their misguided focus on live service games. They've been closing studios left and right and steadily making themselves known as the bad steward of newly acquired studios. They've lost almost all of their big third and second party exclusives, and their previous partners in the industry have strained relationships with them, and now they've decided to screw over their most loyal customers and many small indie publishers as well, by ending support for physical media, and doing so in the worst way imaginable. They could have easily made compromises and avoided the total PR Armageddon that they have on their hands now. The issue is that due to the chip crisis, the PS6 price is going out of control, and they need to make more money off their customers. Say that due to market difficulties, we need to increase the price of physical games by $10. We start printing manuals or maps or something like that to make up for it. Even Nintendo did shit like this. They're charging $10 more for physical games. You could have easily done the same. Or physical games will just be made in smaller boutique batches. If you want one, you have to get it quickly. Or even just saying that the PlayStation 6 will not have physical games, but you'll continue printing PS5 discs and having the option for PS6 to play physical games. And even with the last option, physical games could still live on the PS5, since the cross-gen period between PS5 and 6 probably won't ever end. But no. Just like all the decisions this gen, Sony took the worst one of them all and is now hiding and refusing to come back to social media, because they're scared of the heat. At this point, I pray that the European Union locks in and absolutely fries PlayStation for this shit, because PlayStation is going to screw us over big time if not. We are 1 year away from the PlayStation 6. That is going to cost almost $1,000 with no physical games and the least secure digital storefront in gaming. It feels crazy to say this as a PlayStation fan who's been there since the PS2, but if this situation isn't reversed or at least amended so that PS5 is going to continue receiving physical games, this will actually be my last Sony console, and probably console in general. Because Xbox ain't been any better for a while, and the physical library of the Switch already consists of 50% game keycards. I will just make the best of it and get all the physical PlayStation games I can get in the coming years. But I won't let Sony force me onto their crusty ass storefront, that's for damn sure. I'll unfortunately have to move on to PC gaming and buy my games on good old games. And for that, I'll give you a heartfelt fuck you, Sony. This was Teo, and man, PlayStation really destroyed their reputation in a single console generation. I pray that Persona 6 comes out before January 28, man. Anyways, signing out.